Today's live stream is sponsored by FS Academy. If you want to get started with the most realistic tutorial series and missions for flight sim, you can choose from FS Academy's various products, all available to purchase from multiple websites including our friends at Orbex and Contrail. The FS Academy add-ons created by a real airline captain are designed to help you get started confidently, stepping up your skills with VFR flight or IFR navigation. Their latest product, Navigator, has you navigating cross-country using real techniques, touring the landscape and mirroring a real navigational course. It comes complete with a full ground school manual and 11 tutorial missions which give you the crucial skills needed before setting off on a multi-leg bus trip across wonderful Scotland to put it all into practice. So check the link in the description and go take a look at the FS Academy website today. Well, I should have probably checked the sizing of that before we started the advert. What a way to start. Hope you guys are all okay. Volanta's overlay, quirky little thing that I've just noticed. It keeps resetting the theme, which is weird every time you change the scene inside Streamlabs. But hey ho, here we are in Eagle County, Colorado. Oh dearie me. And we're back in the flybywire A32NX as well. For today, oh look at that, we've got a Citan 737 there, one of Fly UK's new partner airlines. We've got Xometry's Eagle County Airport payware, purchased it yesterday. It's not that impressive, I don't think, although it is situated in this beautiful mountain surrounded area in Colorado. It's pretty cool. Very tricky approaches as well in real life. One of Fly UK's challenging approaches as well that you can do. But we're off today to the new DominicDesignTeam Austin. Again, new payware, which I purchased yesterday actually, for today's live stream as well. So we're going to check that out too. We've enjoyed quite a few of those DominicDesignTeam sceneries in the past, and it's been goodness knows how long since we were last in that flybywire A32NX, so it's only about time, only about right that we dive back into the side stick powered Airbus A320neo. Let's request boarding.
Boarding requested.
On GSX. Ooh, my goodness, there's loads. Good old ASIG, why not? Couple of hours flight time. We've got a steep departure out of here. Hello to Doc, welcome. Zato, David Barley, good morning. Gav, good evening. Thomas, hello guys. Ron, Birdman, Alberta, good morning to you over in Chile. AR Simulations, hello folks, and everyone else. Mark as well, the boy Smythe, welcome. Here we are. So we've wound the time forward by about an hour or so because it's still darkness in Eagle County at the moment. We've wound the time back so we depart into the light. Automator, one of our channel members, suggested the departure out of here because it's very scenic, so we will have a look at that. We're just using the custom boarding.
Pilot's boarding starting.
The GSX as well, with no custom profile for it. We're using its own default brain, if you like. But here we are in our Osprey Airways original A320 livery. And we kind of started cold and dark, to be fair. Except for a few little bits on, so I've aligned the IRS, got the APU fired up. If we look at Navigraph, you can see roughly what we're going to be doing today. So gate 1, we're going to push start onto the apron, and then we're going to taxi out on Alpha, hold at Alpha 7 for this departure on runway 07 and the Gypsum 6 departure as well. So there we are, heading out 070 degrees to Vale, and then slightly northbound 018 degrees up to the Kremling VOR, which is 23 miles away. We're going to have to climb hard here because of the terrain and also the altitude of the airfield. It's 6,500 feet high, the airport elevation, which makes it quite tricky for the aircraft because well, you need to demand a lot more from the engines to climb. Mark's tempted to join, but Finland is still 8 hops away. Good grief. Zata, yeah, what are you in? Let's see. Let me guess, the 747-8, right? Or is that going to be an MD-11, technically? Only a few more days to Christmas. We've got today's live stream, then tomorrow we're going to fly to Rovaniemi, our little Christmas special, and that's going to see us through to Christmas. And then we've got a few more live streams the other side of Christmas in time for New Year's. Here we are. Good old flybywire A32NX flight deck that we are all familiar with.
Your crew has boarded.
Always looking good, of course. And the EFB has had a bit of a refresh too. If we scroll on down here, we've not used this for a little while, but that's had a bit of a neatening up. So we've imported our SimBrief data. There's our route. And we've got our Meta data here too. Chris, hello, welcome. You too, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a great Christmas. Not flying MSFS lately as I'm currently enjoying the new iFly 737 MAX on P3D, which I believe is going to come to MSFS at some point soon, right? There's our ground status page. We've got to do fuel and things as well. We're going to need 8.1 kilos. But I think from memory, if we turn our attention to the MCDU, we can do a lot of it in here. So, is it ATSU, AOC, init press, init data. Let's clear GPS primary. No weight and balance tab though, interestingly enough. Perhaps we need to do it in the in here after all. So we need fuel 8128 kilograms down the bottom. In fact, you can click this, fill block fuel from SimBrief. Look at that, there we go. So we click that, it's going to feed it in, and then we can hit plus, well not plus, the play button to start refueling. We've got it set to fast. Payload, we've used the MCDU to feed that in. Look at that, that looks really neat, doesn't it? We press that, there we go, and that's our SimBrief integration. So it's just fed in all of our payload, and ooh, that's looking pretty good. But again, it's tug direction is the left-right arrows and things like that again that we've had before. So Bacon Sani, hello buddy. Mikhail, welcome. There we go, David. Yeah, thank you. Payload is all on the flypad these days, so it's had a bit of a change, hasn't it? It's all very fresh. We've not used this for a while. By the way, that FS Academy advert at the start, if you're looking to buy that sort of thing, to get some immersion, almost like PPL training as well, if you like, created by a real Airbus pilot, you can purchase it from tomorrow until the 4th of January for 40% off inside the MSFS marketplace, which makes the prices of their products very, very reasonable because you get a lot included. There's our performance calculations for top of descent and a landing calculator as well. That could be useful as well, filling data in from our SimBrief OFP there. That's really neat. And good old Navigraph as well, which we can use, but we're using Navigraph proper, so I don't tend to use it in this inside bits here. One thing I have had to do is go into sim options here and reconfigure my throttle detents because I've changed them all. David A, good morning. Same, David, yeah. Been loving the 737 from PMDG. It's really, really good, but it's been a bit too long since we last used this, hasn't it? So it's only right that we dive back into it. It is, after all, a really remarkable bit of freeware. Changed the landscape of the flight sim community as well quite a bit. For MSFS upon our release, Condensate of 18. Magic, nice. Going to be doing Lanzarote to Stansted later in his 737. Good drills. 370. Okay, so you can still click on there, that's nice. Just quickly inputs all of that for you. Nice little touch, helps speed it all up. Just keep things a bit simple. And then for format error, interesting. Probably because we haven't got our departure in. Let's find out. So 07, gypsum 6, insert. Still format error. We've got a performance calculator in here. Mark, absolutely. Oh, these are some jazzy Christmas tunes. Right, so it's none of those. Yeah, the performance calculator is for landing, isn't it? Top of descent and landing. We don't have one for takeoff. Ooh, flaps. Legend. What's the runway length here in Eagle County?
I'm doing good.
But also then, you know, on the Phoenix, so here's a point then, on the Phoenix, on here you would have a performance calculation where you can punch in all the data and it would give you your takeoff calculations in here, so that you could make sure you've got the correct flap setting for your departure based upon your airfield and the elevation and everything else. Because we don't have that then, give me a couple of minutes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fire up VAS Airplane Toolbox, which is what we use for the 737s. FS add-ons, VAS Airplane Toolbox, airplane toolbox.bat. And I'm hoping this has got an A320neo profile. Looks like boarding's done for the baggage. Okay, let's see what it's going to give us here for the IP stuff. Should be 8081. Sometimes it can take a little while to update the airport database. You need to wait until fully loaded before the V1 calculations work. Ace Airstream, hello. SimSmart was developed by Easy Sim Pilot's father for use with the flybywire A320. Costs peanuts, well worth getting. The thing is, the VAS Airplane Toolbox is free, although it's not wanting to work for me at the moment, so I'm just restarting it. Okay, there we go, now we're in. One. There we are, starting application. A320neo, lovely. Good old VAS Airplane Toolbox. So we're going to pull in our SimBrief data into VAS Airplane Toolbox. You can get it from the X-Plane forums, ironically, even though I don't use X-Plane. Runway 07. Calculate. Let's see what it gives us. So it's going to give us config 1+F, flex of F49. And we've got our V-speeds there as well. So let's see if this works out for us. Let's see if it allows F49. It's fine. Didn't think it would, but that's how it reads on that anyway. 121, 122, 126. Interesting. So V2 on VAS Airplane Toolbox is saying Rotate 150 V2 155, but that's fine by me. That sounds like we're going to rocket up to takeoff speeds. So init A, init B, perf page is done. We're not going to worry about step outs. That's new though. Looks like we can allow step altitudes now, which is really cool. Rad nav page, we don't need. Fuel prediction is all good, and that is done. Veil RAG to cause, which I think is, yeah, Kremling. So we're going to clear the discontinuity there. And then we can think about Austin in a little while, but we're expecting the Lakes 3 arrival by Coca, the ILS 36 left. So why not put that in now? ILS 36 left. Likes 3. Via neither of those, of course. Brilliant. Coca. What do we got here? We'll say Lammas. Yeah, why not? We'll do via Lammas. Transition at Okoka. That'll do. Looks like it'd be right on the charts. We can fiddle around with it in a little while anyway, but that's the crux of it. All input ready to go. Yeah, guys, if you're new to the channel, Merry Christmas first and foremost, of course, unless you don't celebrate it. And then make sure you hit like and subscribe. And look at that, the sun's come up. Jolly good.
Eagle traffic, UPS 2306 at stand 10 pushing back facing west.
The icing vehicles are coming now.
This was BA, we would have Jedi and Vader open. Turn the packs off for de-icing. I think that's all we have to do in this. No, Doc, because it's pitch black if we go to live time. We've wound it forwards about an hour or so. There goes one of the guys. We'll see what happens with GSX with the de-icer trucks, who are just arriving now. Ryan says his flybywire A320 stutters. Interesting. Performance, for me, it seems better in this than it does for Phoenix and their A320. There's a noticeable difference in performance. Where is the top bar downloaded from? It's from Volanta. It's one of their new Volanta 1.4 features. My goodness, what's that turning circle look so bad there? I wonder, actually, has it remembered our custom views? No! I've lost all my custom views. We can't go into the flight deck, into the cabin either. Wonder what it gives us here. Oh, well, that's deeply frustrating.
Confirm aircraft is ready for
Doc says it's about to have sunrise. Not really. 2 hours away from sunrise, Doc.
We begin treatment now and observe. Fluid type 1. Concentration at 100%. I will call you back when ready.
That's annoying because we last time we flew it, we had all our custom views all ready to go, but it seems in this instance it's somehow deleted them all. Cruiser flight level 370. We'll fire that up. My God, they're loud. Oh, I can't believe we don't have custom views for today. That's mighty frustrating. Red Hat, hello. Speckle Boy says, are you able to request the de-icing trucks add a de-icing pad? I don't think so. Maybe that's something they could bring into GSX in the near future. It'd be very cool. Oh look, it's automatically turned our wing anti-ice on. That's good, that's good. QNH3043 on the altimeter. And let's get that beacon on. It is on now, actually. I feel like I've forgotten something really important, and I'm not sure what.
De-icing and anti-icing completed. Anti-icing code is fluid type 1. Concentration at
Jolly good.
100%. I'm disconnected.
Okay, that's cool. Now it's recognised we've got the beacon lights on, the anti-collision lights on. It's cleared all of the cones from fly-by-wire's EFB. Eagle County, Osprey 165, gate 1. Push and start to face west. Plane Guy is asking, what version of the flybywire A32NX do we use? It's the experimental branch. Birdman, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
No thanks. This is Murica. Wait for the old guy with a pin. Headset guy.
Hello, Captain. We're ready for pushback.
Okay, let's pause. Santa in a Hurry apparently is the next song. As long as he doesn't damage any of my presents.
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Okay. We need to put APU bleed back on for engine start. It's interesting they've turned on. I don't remember turning them on myself. We want the nose right, tail left.
Locking gear.
Minus 15 degrees, sorry, minus 16 degrees at the moment here with the live weather. Beautiful scenery though. Look at that wrap round mountain view. Raising the nose.
Release parking brakes. Commencing push. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Which is a thing, because it tells you that, but then if you don't have the engine started by the time your pushback is done, it starts pestering you constantly for confirm good engine start and all that stuff. Go engine 2. I wonder if we've got, where the hell is it going?
Correction, UPS 2306, taxiing to
Set parking
runway
brakes.
07,
You are-
Charlie 1, no correction, Charlie 2,
You are kidding me. This is a custom
and
profile.
Alpha.
Waiting your confirmation for good engine start.
Oh, that's really frustrating as well. Confirm good engine start, why not? Let's just get rid of him. We're actually going to have to power back.
Unlocking gear.
So that is...
In America, power back is the most important, most efficient way to push back.
that's a bit frustrating that. We've got a custom profile for it, but GSX is... because it's basically the custom pushback hasn't been customised properly. It's done this weirdness. Yeah, very odd. Hey ho. We'll wait till both engines are on and then we will actually have to do a power
Tow
back.
truck disconnected. Bypass
Unless we
removed.
can swivel it round with the hard right.
Left is clear.
We could blast the tug driver with a load of jet blasts to make a point. In America, you need to give the temperature in freedom units. If only I was clever enough to be able to do the maths to convert that. I'm not convinced I want a flex takeoff. I actually kind of think I want to have a toga takeoff with the altitude and the temperature. Okay, engines 1 and 2 are good. Should we complete this pushback procedure a little bit? Back we go. There we go, that's how you do it. Okay, flaps 1 plus F. Spoilers armed. Hello. Part brake set. Weird. Click that twice, don't know why it didn't work. Back to the performance page. There is that, but it's a short runway at high altitude, Doc. That's the only thing. Of course, in the winter, you get much better performance out of your aircraft, as was the case in the PA28 as well. Let's get the APU off. Could probably leave it on, to be honest. Let's pop them out the belly. We'll back them on automatic as well. Eagle County traffic, Osprey 165 taxiing to hold point Alpha 7, runway 07, bar Alpha.
Eagle County, Osprey 722, passing 1,000 feet on the Gibson 6 departure. Eagle County traffic.
That's a point. And you know what? It's now giving me new performance
Eagle
calculations.
County, UPS 2306, lining up runway
Good grief.
07.
Pillar steering needs a bit of work. Nice crackled effect here, though, on the taxiway. That's pretty neat. Right, down on the performance box, I've got to change a few bits. I actually want now flaps 2. Flex of 43. Downhill we go. Whee! Little bit of brakes to help slow us down. And we're going to do our takeoff config check. So we're now flap 2.
Alright boys, place your bets. UPS 2306, departing runway 07.
No idea if he's going to depart with that big old whopper of a 747, so we shall watch.
It's an MD-11, my friend.
Pete to the ATCO, hello to you. Glad to see someone actually fly the fly-by-wire on stream. Most seem to be doing the Fenix. Yeah, I've enjoyed the Fenix, but I think it's important that we certainly celebrate how good the fly-by-wire is, and has been, and continues to be. My God, he's right at the end of the runway. Oh my god. I say that's an overrun. The question is he going to actually... Oh no! Oh dear.
Trying to gain speed here. I'm struggling.
Off he goes. Good job we stopped there as well. Oh my goodness me. That's like max rate climb.
UPS 2306 airborne 7500 for 370. Final call for Eagle County.
Oh dear. Anyway, look at all the terrain that we've got to avoid. It makes it very difficult to fly into the airfield. Flying outbound a little bit simpler because we can use the performance of the engines and get up and away nice and quick. But if you've not tried flying into Eagle County, it's really, really difficult. Really ruddy difficult, because certainly here, if you're flying in on 07, you've got to kind of fight this terrain and then get down on this runway. You're higher up, so you need to demand more power of the engines. It's like the Innsbruck of the States, this. It's really, really tricky. I've got to say the taxiway textures are very nice. I don't know how they've done it, but certainly the best we've seen for winter ops scenery. Okay, takeoff memos, all good, there's no blue. Lights and signs, as required. And runway 07 confirmed. Eagle County traffic, Osprey 165 is lining up Alpha 7, runway 07. And taking off Gypsum 6 departure, Eagle County traffic. Winds are showing 0 at 0. Looking at the windsock though, there is a bit of deflection. It actually looks to be a slight crosswind, right to left. So we will trust the windsock rather than the METAR. Looks to be potentially a 5 knots crosswind. And for the first time in a long time, we're going to get airborne in the flybywire A32NX. There's our first screenshot. So, holding on the brakes initially, you're going to set 40% M1. Get that stick forwards as well. Get pressure on the nose wheel. Stable, off the brakes, 2 clicks, flex, SRS. Speeds alive, through 80 knots. Relieve the nose wheel pressure by 100. B1, rotate. Follow the flight director, positive rate, gear up, max rate climb, look at that. Got to get away from the terrain. Got quieter than I remember. Little dog leg to the left, lever climb. So the thrust levers go into the climb gate and we can get autopilot 1 on. Accelerating through 160, let's go flaps 1 plus F. Climbing away. Beautiful, beautiful climb out here, look at this. Would have been better with custom views on the wings. That'll be for the next flybywire stream, following the road outbound by the looks of it as well, which is quite nice. Through flap retraction speeds and the green dot, let's disarm the spoilers as well as flaps to 0. Oh, you know what I forgot? TCAS. Naughty me. Through 10,000 feet already. Oops, wrong one. Wing. Seatbelt signs can come off. Accelerating away. Yeah, it's a little bit of stutters. Somebody was mentioning that in the chat. Keep smashing the likes, subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. Just working through reporting those spam comments that popped in a minute ago on departure. It's always on departure, we've not had them for a long time either. It's weird it pops up. But yeah, never click on any of those weird spammy links. Okay, southbound very shortly. So we're off to the DominicDesignTeam Austin Airport. New release, released only about 2 days or so ago. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Looks fantastic. Big airport as well, of course. It's 20 quid, 22 euros roughly, and it's available on Simmarket, but it's also available on the iniBuilds store too. How are we doing? 17,000. There's Baccazato. It's just popped up there on the 20 mile on the TCAS. Through 18. Let's go to standard. Okay, it's all looking pretty good. Andy. I know, disappointing, isn't it? Peter, hello, welcome. Fantastic views here. Early stream indeed, Christopher. Yeah, we did a little bit later yesterday, which meant that the guys in Far East, Australia, New Zealand, the stream for them didn't start till about 1 in the morning. So counted that by trying to do a little bit of an earlier one today, so that if you're in that side of the world, you still get to see a pre-Christmas stream. And then tomorrow it's going to be 1300, so it's meet in the middle job. Cythera, hello buddy, welcome. Been a gold frequent flyer now for over 18 months. That's fantastic. Thank you for all of your ongoing support. I'm very well, thanks. Hope you're okay. Little right turn coming up. Ooh, very nice. It's a lot lighter than the Fenix in the flight deck here, with the contrast of the light and the dark. That's something I would like to see them fix. Ron, who was in the 747 Zato, I believe. It was an MD-11, I think, wasn't it? MD-11F that he's actually in, but it's model matched as a 747-8F for us today. Peter, yeah, the next level racing Boeing seat that I've got, saying hope your new seat is still comfy. Yeah, it's pretty nice actually. I do find for long periods of time, if you sit on it, I do get a bit of a numb bum. It's a bit more on the firm side, but it's actually not that bad at all. The setup that I've got with the keyboard shelf, or the arm that comes out of the seat for the keyboard, and then the other one for the mouse and everything. It's really nice. They've got the Turtle Beach yoke installed right in the middle as well, which is really good. So all in all, actually, very impressed with the whole package. Look at that. Spectacular view. And my pilot in real life, Sharon, so it's... I was studying towards my private pilot's license, but I haven't actually flown since May because, well, just the cost of it. It's nearly £250 an hour now, which I think is just an eye-watering expense when there's a cost of living crisis and everything is a lot more expensive. I can't really justify paying such an amount of money for hobby flying, basically. Oh, that brings me on though to another topic actually. If you guys are in the UK, if you're watching this in the UK and you are near about 18 years old, or certainly, you know, less than 25, you find yourselves financially without many commitments, i.e. you don't have a mortgage or anything like that, then have a look at TUI, because they've started for the first time in, well, since I was about 4 years old, they've started a fully sponsored scheme again. So you've got to pay for accommodation, I think, and travel expenses, I believe it was, but everything else is paid for and you're bonded to them for a contract. So if you're looking for a way into becoming an airline pilot, then have a look at that MPL scheme. It starts at Gloucester Airport, I believe. So it's a residential course at Gloucester Airport, and if you're successful in the process, you will end up flying the Boeing 737 MAX with TUI UK, which is really cool. Certainly something that some of you might be interested in, or certainly find that you are in a position where you can put your name in the hat for that. To be honest, there's no age limit, but I find, like, for me, as much as I would love to do it, I would have to quit my job, or take a career break, which means I don't get paid, and then it also then means that I can't afford my mortgage, so I can't I can't apply, which is devastating. So Theory says, doesn't Lufthansa and Emirates have a similar scheme? You know what, I'm not sure, to be totally honest. I don't really keep up to date with those. I know Wizz had one as well, but the pay's atrocious. It's like 19,000 a year basic, which is shocking. I think TUI have said 26 or 28,000 pounds a year starting salary if you're successful with them. I did see one pop up the other day as well with another airline, but I can't remember who it was. I do, Sharon, yes. I do work at Heathrow. At least for now, at least for the next year. I failed my promotion process, which means I, unfortunately, don't get promoted, but on the positive side of it, I get to stay at Heathrow for another year. Yeah, a couple of little micro stutters here, every now and again. I'm starting Simbridge. I don't actually know what it is though. Simbridge is running apparently. Yeah, quite frustrating, Mark, to be honest. A lot of work's gone into it. Feels like you kind of wasted your time, really. That's Baccasato further up ahead. Can't quite see him. He's 30 odd miles away. Matthew, hello. Yes, I can see that today for sure. Peter, it's the experimental branch for flybywire A32NX. Heck is this Christmas music? It's called Naughty List. That is trippy. Let's skip that. Very weird, Matthew. Yeah, maybe it's a cache thing. Or YouTube being YouTube. I forgot with the Airbus how little there is to do with the jet. To be honest, it kind of manages itself. You kind of just sat here enjoying it, but then it's where I wish I had my wing views. I don't have them. Jan, hello. Frames per second wise, this is much better. I've got to say, I'm impressed with the progress they've made as well. There's a lot of things that kind of bring in the similarities with the Fenix. The MCDU and everything, of course, is very similar. I think it's very difficult to compare the two. The flybywire A32NX is, of course, incredibly good freeware. Night Shepherd, have a good one. Good night to you over in Australia. And thank you very much as well. Have a great Christmas to you too. Oh, Microsoft Flight Simulator, fix that software tooltip thing. Johnny, hello to you. Maybe missed something important, but my experimental mode doesn't have VNAV. Top of climb, top of descent. What am I doing wrong? Are you sure you've got the experimental branch? I'll have to see when we get later, further in. But we did have top of climb showing. I'm not sure if we'll have top of descent. I'm sure we will. I can't see why we wouldn't. Doc says Gav almost crashed. Cythera, it is, isn't it? I don't know why that slipped through beta testing. Shows you how rubbish some of their beta testers must be, though. What have we got here? But, I mean, we have to pretend that is the wing view for today. Good grief. Mark says, I've always stuck with the fly-by-wire A32NX. I spend much more time in general aviation prop aircraft, so it's not worth him spending the dosh on the Fenix. That's fair enough. If you really like the fly-by-wire A32NX, there's kind of not a massive amount of reason to then go ahead and purchase the Fenix A320, because they are, let's face it, very similar, but one costs 50-60 quid and the other one doesn't, and you could use, if you've got a limited budget as well, you could use that money towards a different aircraft variant like the 737 or something else, and then you can have a bit of Airbus, a bit of Boeing, and don't forget as well, we've got the iniBuilds A310, that's free, which is also really good. Let's have a look at Volanta. So, let's get them screenshots added in. They look pretty good actually. I like. We zoom in. There's our departure of Eagle County. We've got somebody going off to Detroit there. Oh, that's them taking off now actually. So all of our pack are airborne. There's our little wiggle out. God, it doesn't like 4K or 2K images at all, does it? We've got anyone else flying along today? I've got Zato. And then me. Can't see anyone else. I can see David down there, Osprey 490 out of Albuquerque. He's going to be departing and joining the pack. That's cool. So our route is going to take us south across to Austin, down the very bottom here, near to San Antonio, which is an iniBuilds scenery, which has just been updated as well, by the way. You've got our flight briefing and our usual little tab on the side of Volanta. And nothing's really changed. We can get rid of IVAO, FS Cloud, Pilot Edge. We can get rid of helipads. We can add scenery mapping, so we can click tick, and that will give us aircraft with a little star now, airports with a star, to show that we've got that. See the star there? We've got that as a custom scenery. We zoom out, actually, might be a little bit more prominent. Very cool. And then we can load in the nav data as well, which will then pull in our data from Navigraph. I love how it's now loaded that image twice. Let me just get off Volante because I want to show you guys the view at the moment. Beautiful rolling clouds zooming past. That's really cool. Cythera, I'm just using the Microsoft Xbox game bar. So I go Windows G and then I click the little photograph icon. Mark says, is Austin staffed on VATSIM today? It doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it. Not at least at the moment anyway. Matthew, nice. Be off for 2 weeks post Christmas. Hope to join a few flights during that time. That'd be good. Mark, I'm very much due a Fly UK flight. I've got another week or so before my account gets deleted. I think it's the 9th of January maybe. Oh, Matthew, very nice. Enjoyed Japan. If you want something really weird, go to the Cup Noodle Museum in Yokohama. You get to create your own custom cup noodle. I did it, and then about 3 years later, because those things don't go off, 3 years later I then ate it because I couldn't be bothered to store it anymore. Have a great flight, Matthew. Have a nice trip. Let's see. Sort out my zoom. What a mess. Mark says, Luke, fly one of the Flying Club tour legs with me then. 1 hour in general aviation requalifies you. Does it really? The oxygen thieves are back. Nice the reaction there, Doc. Love it. Let me just report those as well. Bearing in mind we've got subscriber mode switched on, I don't understand how they get through it. It makes you wonder if YouTube have actually got a subscriber mode in the chat that actually works or not. Who knows? By the way, the chap who won yesterday, Lieutenant Riot, he hasn't yet claimed yesterday's prize, the iniBuilds Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County Airport. So, by the end of today, or by the end of, was it about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock roughly, the 24 hours is up for him to claim that prize. If that ends up not being claimed, then you guys know what that means. I will then fire in another giveaway tomorrow to give that second copy away. Peter, no, it's just spam bots, YouTube spam bots. They're back with a vengeance. Never click on those links though. I don't think it can do a link, but don't follow the links either, the weird names of the channels and things. You report them, they get deleted by YouTube, and then within 10 minutes they're back up again. Yo, hello, welcome. Can't believe you guys still go to college. All of our schools here are broken up, I believe, in the UK for Christmas. Rebel Air, hello to you, welcome. Tyranny, hi, what do you think of the Headwind A330? That's a great question. It's a really good aeroplane. Fantastic aircraft. we were supposed to do a special preview of their latest version that's been released. A few family related things kind of got in the way, which meant that I couldn't get around to doing it. Mark, howdy, welcome. How was your flight? What route did you choose for this morning? David says Kelowna to Vancouver is 1 hour 10 or so. Yeah, you know what? I need to do a CTAN flight as well. The new Fly UK codeshare airline. Yeah, it's free anyway, Tyranny, so give it a go and basically see what you think. You might like it, you might not, but it's free, so it hasn't cost you anything. Yep, good as ever. Couple of jitters though, where it's a little bit stuttery. I don't know why. Could be anything, let's face it. That reminds me, actually, I need to stop QATL in the background. Ashley, no worries, welcome, good afternoon. You could do a David and join us en route from somewhere else. David's out of Albuquerque, he's just departed actually by the looks of it. He has. He's just ahead of the pack. There's Amarillo that's just underneath our route today, or we've got Oklahoma City, that's another option. Right, let me just change your chat setting here. I'll put it back on the rule that you must subscribe for at least 1 minute, just to see what happens. Doc says, have you tried using remote CDU using SimBridge on flybywire? No, I haven't actually, to be fair. I'll probably end up breaking it. Similarly, the SimBridge, is that what also contains their new terrain radar and things as well, the terrain maps and the weather radar, or is that something else entirely? Oh, actually, no worries. What route are you flying then? Sammy, welcome. David says MCDU on an actual iPad is brilliant. Surprised no payware aircraft have the feature yet. Giuliano says it's not the sim, it's flybywire. Is that in relation to the little stutters that we've been experiencing? Interesting. Good to know. Do we know what's causing it, or... .37. Yeah, have a good one. So we've got terrain mode, which works now in the flybywire A32NX, and I think if I've understood it correctly as well, the weather system works now because we've got the SimBridge thing working as well. These are some absolutely rogue Christmas musics. Let's try this one. Incheon to Kaohsiung, nice. We're cruising at max 7.8 today. Tomorrow we're going to be departing the Origami Studios London Gatwick Airport. It's been a while since we've been there, to be fair, for a departure. And we are going to be heading off to MK Studios Rovaniemi for a bit of a Christmas trip in the PMDG 737-800, and we're going to fly TUI. So we'll have to don our Santa hats for tomorrow. Dr. Magic, welcome buddy. Joining us as a bronze frequent flyer. Great to have you on board with us. That reminds me. David says, did my trip to Efro last week. Yeah, there was the big event, wasn't there? But I ended up missing it myself. Got to work out what might be wrong with my car as well. It's had a little ping up saying check your battery. Dr. Magic saying love to see the fly-by-wire out of the hangar. Need to go back there myself. Too much time spent on the Fenix. Yeah, we do need to sort of keep this fresh, to be fair, and use it a little bit more. It is really good after all, let's face it. I mean, look at that, it looks great. I need to fix my wing views, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to do at some point in the future. But I have to say, when I was doing the QA testing for fly-by-wire back in the early days and when it began, it's been really nice to see that there's a lot of dedicated people all over the world creating one freeware package that makes this so good. Mark, thank you buddy. Member for 20 months, good grief, almost 2 years. Is that how long we've been going for? Good grief. Merry Christmas to you as well, thank you. MG King says, what do you think of Flow by Parallel 42? I don't know, to be honest. I've seen a few bits on news sites sort of things, but I think like an email from Orbex about it, but I don't really know anything about it, unfortunately. Never heard of it until I got an email from Orbex. Not sure if it's anything I'd use, to be honest. From what I understand, it's designed to switch over the drop-down bar, but I find I don't really use it very much. I use it for GSX at the start and end of flight, and that's kind of it. And then I don't touch the drop-down bar after. Zato, we are indeed. Back to Rovaniemi tomorrow. Get these screens nice and bright. Absolutely, Sathira. Any update on the ATR? No. Was it Milviz or Blackbird Simulations, I think they're now called, aren't they? They were creating the ATR. I haven't heard anything for quite a while from in relation to that, which is a bit strange. Rich, good morning to you. Asking, do you use drone cam or normal cam to set camera views? I'm getting the weird fisheye view when setting them. Do you mean the custom wing views and things? Because the custom wing views, usually you set it by changing the code, so you drop into the cabin, so you're just in the flight deck custom view, like the cockpit view. You trick the file so you go into the cabin with it, and then you move further back and you just set one either side, and it will then allow you to set your views. Yeah, the Fly and See Santa event last week, Sato, was it's one of the biggest events in the VATSIM calendar. We did it last year actually, but fortunately I wasn't able to take part this year. Mark's putting out some feelers there. Would anyone be interested in a bit of general aviation flying over the holidays? Offering to throw in something festive. I'm working from Thursday. I'm working all the way through to Boxing Day, sadly, this year. Night shifts as well. Good grief. Never fun. That's all good. How's the fuel at Kento? Actually, let's use the fly pad. Kento, 5.8 tons. Oh, we've got loads of fuel extra. Yeah, if they do pull off a really good ATR iFly Sim Pilot, then it'll be really good. Be interesting to see the difference between the MSFS one from. In fact, it's Hans Hartmann, isn't it, creating it? Who's the chap who created the Aerosoft CRJ with Aerosoft and was active in the Twin Otter project too from Aerosoft. So I would imagine that's going to be really good. Clayton, that was the flight to Gran Canaria, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure we did it a couple of months ago. Any Indian sector in the future? It depends on what scenery comes next, really. I haven't, to be fair, I haven't flown an Indian sector for quite a few months. I think the last one was at Mumbai, Chennai, as a pairing. Yeah, Birmingham to Gran Canaria, we did. Clayton. That's the route you wanted, wasn't it? We did Phoenix A320, Monaco Airlines, Birmingham to Gran Canaria. 6 months ago, actually. Looking at, I'm just going through our previous live stream list. Mark, yeah. I think if you use this toolbar a lot, then that's where flow is then going to be useful, but at the start of the stream, I go into here, I change the drone camera to the setting I need. I might use the drop down for GSX at the start, and then that's it. Don't use it again. Medan Kuala Namu to Chennai, Doc says, the VATSIM event. Oh, you looked that up real quick. Birdman keeps losing his save settings in the Fenix, like Barrowlink, really annoying. I get the same problem too. It keeps switching itself off, which is really, really frustrating. Especially when there's a freeware tool to hide the toolbar. Cythera says, yeah, it's kind of like, basically they've created a product for a market that didn't exist until then, until now, basically. One of those sort of things, I think, if I've understood it correctly. For me, it wouldn't have an impact, and if I got it, I'd probably be using it more, which would then potentially mean that what this toolbar would become would be in the way more. Mark's turbo, yeah. Doc is like turbo mod. It's either that or he lives in the future, so he's already seen the question or heard the question, and he's just sitting there waiting for me to ask. He's got the answer pre-written ready. Mark says, I'll be honest, I saw an ad for Flow the other day and I thought, why? I think it's one of those you'd have to have a look at it, maybe enjoy the free version to understand how it all works properly. I haven't looked at it that much, so I need to understand it a bit better before I can offer an opinion, basically. Ashley saying Flow is much more than that, can pretty much control anything from it. Rather than buttons and levers, as well as creating custom macros, it'd be very useful for virtual reality. It's another rogue Christmas sound noise there. Jan says it's crazy how there still isn't an EFB for the 737. It is taking them a little while, isn't it, PMDG? But I think perhaps maybe one of the problems there is that Boeing have got that new EFB. I wonder if maybe it's taken a little bit longer getting all the data to create that EFB to bring it to the sim, perhaps. I don't know. But I would have liked to have thought it was going to be available by now. Whenever it does come, it will be good, though, I'm fairly sure. The big thing really with this is the fact that top descent coming up soon. The big thing really with this is the fact that we know that we've got some decent product updates coming soon from PMDG. I have no idea what the dog's barking at. Basically nothing, apparently, according to the Ring camera. You can program all kinds of stuff, so without hardware you can use one click to do all pre-flight button switch clicks. That's really smart, David, then, yeah. I suppose if you're sat in virtual reality and you just wanted to get in and go, you could set macros that go through the flow of all of the button switches through to getting the aircraft alive and ready, and then you could just punch in your data and then have a GSX tab maybe for macros to trigger the pushback. I don't know. So they were saying the toolbar becomes a weapon wheel, which is Xbox compatible, actually, isn't it? From what I've read, so you can use the wheel on your Xbox controller to flick through the wheel in various places. Right, that's our departure. Let's forget about that now. Here we go. So Ukoka. Ukoka is where we begin our transition to the Likes 3 arrival. So Ukoka, Dillo, Zagi, and then Likes at or between 10,000 to 14,000 feet. Then we got Boys, Carlos Hukum at 210 knots, 5,000 feet. And that's because we're coming in for... Actually, no, we're doing 36 left, so we're going to go Boys, Travis, Rat, Lady at 5,000 at Lady, 210 knots. It says expect RNAV approach or radar vectors to final approach course. So from here, I can add that to the route as well. And you can see then we're going to basically route round towards Lammas, then establish on the ILS to Camden. Camden at 4,000, we'll then hopefully hit the glide slope, and away we go into Dominic Design Team's Austin Bergstrom International. ILS 36 left, elevation's 542 feet. Transition's flight level 180 in the States, and there's our minimums, 696. Doc has said we want gate 24, so when we do vacate, where are we? 36 left. We're going to try and vacate probably Golf midway, and then we'll taxi Golf into the terminal area. Smaller than I thought, actually. Which then brings the question, where is our parking stand? 24. It's pretty much right in the middle, off the Golf taxi lane. Golf 3 onto Charlie 1 and in. So I will pin that as well. And then get our arrival charts back ready again. 27 Tur, hello to you. Great channel, thank you very much. Great to hear. Maybe I missed it, but what was the live VATSIM map with integrated Navigraph data, or did I misunderstand that? That was Volanta, so I'll bring the screen back up. There we are. So it's Volanta, which is this. You can add screenshots, track your flights, and all that sort of stuff. Oh, there's Gav, Osprey 722. Lovely stuff. I think he overtook us, or undertook us. Into Austin. Navigraph charts, worldwide VFR charts and stuff is now integrated in Volanta 1.5. Haven't signed in because I don't know if it requires me to use my QR code or not yet. Roster. That's quite cool. You can create your own scheduled upcoming flights. That's a nice setting. And what I have done is I've enabled in the map settings now the Navigraph nav data. So we're going Kento direct to Lubbock. We're not actually using any of our high altitude airways for this. But you can see it crisscrossing around, and if I just go across towards the Atlantic here and I turn on map settings, prescribed tracks, we go to NAT, there you go, you can see the NAT tracks active as well, and a few of the guys using them as well. NAT track Charlie's in use there, I think, by the looks of it. A couple of guys there, Frogger Jogger Speedbird 6 November Charlie and United 1225. Those Atlantic crossings. iFly Simpilot, no worries, thank you. See you soon on the ramp. KEGE, exactly. There's no rush to get an EFB. I mean, look how much we've used the EFB today. Look how much we use it in the Fenix. It's only really takeoff and landing, but then we've got Fast Airplane Toolbox, which helps. Yeah, the 900 is coming soon. It's in testing. If we go to live time, we'll see the sunrise. Let's do it. Ooh. So this is live time now because it is so much further away. We actually moved it further forwards so that we had daylight hours for that really scenic departure out of Eagle County, but we might as well go back into nighttime mode. Look at the emissives here as well. Ido says, do you know why I have the takeoff config sign on every time I'm taking off on the PMDG 737? Quite possibly, as Ashley has said, you might have done an Airbus thing, which is arming the spoiler for departure. You don't do that in the 737. Commentator in real life flew to Edinburgh on Friday morning during sunrise with snowy scenery and clear skies. It was very nice. I quite imagine that's really scenic, yeah. Brit's saying, hey, there's me house. Did we actually just fly over your house? Let's see. Darkness to the south. There's that sunrise. Dr. Magic was asking earlier on as well, do you say Volanta Premium is worth a pop? If it's something you're going to if you're going to use something like the state saving function, then that's only available on Volanta Premium. It's got a few other quirks and features, the ability to upload screenshots and things as well. I would have to revisit what Volanta Premium gives you, unless somebody knows off the cuff in the live chat, to see the differences between free Volanta and Volanta Premium. I've got to say I do like using Volanta Premium, and now with this new update it is very, very nice. With the new update it comes with that stream overlay as well, which is cool for our streams. Bye bye Fly Live Studios. Oh, there we go. Doc says Volanta Mobile is only for Premium. See, that is a big reason for Premium as well. Is it an official app? I'm going to search for it on the Play Store. It actually is, yeah, Volanta, an actual Play Store app for Android. I'm going to download it now. Have a little look. Google Authenticator code. Wait for that to refresh. Two-factor authorization. There we go. Version 1.0.16. Volanta Mobile. You'll be able to view your and other users' flights, see statistics and screenshots, write notes and plan new flights. More exciting features are on the way. Ooh, I've just pressed the little follow me track button and it's pinged straight towards my aircraft. God, that's really cool. That's neat, I like that. Settings. Dark theme, light theme. It's not full of features. Lots of map styles. Display weather, why not? That's cool. It'll be interesting to see how that progresses then over the next couple of years. Dr. Magic, that's probably a good question actually, I'm not sure. I would imagine you do need to have it running, yeah. What's the weather like in Austin, Texas? KAUS. Winds 010 at 8 knots. Oh my god. 2.5 statute miles visibility in fog. Overcast 400 feet. 8 degrees Celsius, dew point 8 degrees, altimeter 3028. I think that's the lowest visibility we've ever seen on a METAR. 2.5 statute miles. It'd be interesting to see what the sim does to replicate this then. It's going to be interesting. 0808 degrees Celsius, altimeter 3028. Pea soup doc, absolutely. You know what, I keep meaning actually, I need to do a pea soup merchandise mug. But then I've lost the actual file, the textured emoji, because I had that problem with wiping Windows a little while ago. Minimums are only 200 feet. So that's going to be interesting. Automator, no worries buddy, good morning to you. And you're welcome, thank you. It's a nice departure for sure. We need to revisit it as well. Ashley's pointing out some other Volanta Premium features. It also has schedules, roster, autosaves, 4K quality screenshots. Although I struggled to upload 2K quality screenshots, bizarrely enough. Aircraft persistence, remote pause and unpause, and then with the free version you can still track flights and share screenshots. Chicago Skyhawk, hello. Flew Austin to Chicago O'Hare back in 2017 for CitizenCon. Is that game ever going to be released? Oh, I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever heard of CitizenCon. David saying we have a cold front moving in over the next few days with temperatures in the single digits across Texas. Going to be an interesting approach, this. It's going to be good fun. Chaz is saying expecting minus 50 Fahrenheit wind chill in Colorado with that front. My God, that's very cold. What's that in Celsius, actually? I have Celsius brain. I also can't seem to operate the zoom nicely today. Keep smashing that like button as well, folks. See if we get to 100 before we arrive. Over 100 watching, only 42 likes at the minute. The sounds are very different in the flybywire from what I remember. They used to be a lot louder from memory. Love the emissives from the beacon though, that's fantastic. Blown up, hello to you. David says, yeah, we have Fahrenheit brains here. I'm actually going to have to Google minus 50 Fahrenheit. Doc saying 2.5 statute miles is still above minimums. RVR's is 3/4 statute miles. Plenty to play with then, but we'll see. Yeah, minus 45 degrees, as the commentator said. Dr. Magic, I've been exclusively Airbus, but tried the PMDG 737 last night. I've got a headache, but will persevere. Yeah, stick with it, stick with it. It's going from Airbus to Boeing is, like you say, it's a headache. There's a lot more to do as a pilot trying to operate the jet. There's a lot more to learn as well, but when you master it, you're going to absolutely love it, and you probably won't look back either. You'll dip back into Airbus sometimes for some easier flights, but flight sim, when you're nice and busy flying the aircraft and you're doing ignition mode selectors up here and a load of other stuff and trying to manage all its systems, you do feel like you're getting a lot more out of it. Certainly good value for money. Fenix actually enlisted help from one of the flybywire devs to fix the light for the Fenix exterior strobes, Ethera says. Interesting. They've slowed down massively with the updates for Fenix, haven't they? Ace Airstream says, I've just upgraded to Volanta Premium further up in the chat. Find that the landing rates seem much more accurate and realistic than in the free version. That's interesting. Ido was asking which airplane is better in my opinion, the PMDG 737 or the Fenix A320. For me, still solid favourite is the PMDG 737-800. Or the Dash 700 or the 600 variant as well, which is, I mean, that's only 30 odd quid. Chaz saying posted the weather warning in the club lounge, the members section in Discord. It's now down to minus 55 Fahrenheit. Wow. Noah's been on the PMDG for multiple months now. Been trying to learn the flybywire A320 and can't seem to get a hang of the Airbus. I keep thinking I have more to do than I actually do. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? There's after departure, autopilot on, leave the throttle in the climb gate, and it will fly you all the way there. Whereas the 737, you're clicking stuff all over the place. You've got to go wings level CMDA, and there's a lot to do, and it's just great fun. Cythera is saying Fenix are working on version 2. Interesting. New exterior model, new coding to the FB, and they're working on the IAE version finally. How long is that going to take, though? Carlito, that's the problem I've got right now as well. He says, got the 737, had it for 2 months, and I can't let it go. It is awesome, isn't it? I'm looking forward to the PMDG 737-900, which is coming very soon, but it seems. That's going to be great fun. There's going to be a lot of tail strikes, I would imagine, as well. $35 for the PMDG 737-600, as MG King has said, is an insanely good deal. Yeah, it's a great entry point into the world of PMDG as well, and it's for those of you who don't want to spend 50-60 quid on a payware 737, you can get one for about £25-30 based on the exchange rate in pounds sterling, about $35, and you'll get yourself a remarkably good 737 that also flies like a rocket because it's so short and light in comparison. Cythera is the other way. It actually flies the A320 more than the 737. Interesting. So a question for you then, Cythera, is do you seem to fly the flybywire A32NX more, or do you fly the Fenix A320 more? And if so, depending on which one, why is that one out of the two A320s your favourite? Interesting. So we won't be getting the IAE engine anytime soon then, Ashley, it seems. There's the sunset. Doc, sounds good. We can have a release week, can't we? We can do United, KLM hopefully with the 900. We will have Flight Tampers Amsterdam for Microsoft Flight Simulator finally released. That'll be good, won't it? Screenshot. That'll go on Valanta. It's like we're turning into the sun as well. Yeah, this jet's a very hands-off jet in comparison to the 7.3. But it is a good way to get your head around twin jets, starting off in flybywire A32NX. Just trying the third time to upload that screenshot. Finally, there we go. Dr. Magic, which of your tutorials for the 737-800 would you suggest I start with? I would start with episode 1. There's 3 in particular. Episode 1, episode 2, episode 3. I'd start with those on the PMDG tutorial series that I've done. Start with them and then look at other bits as well. Cold and Rady in Austin today for Jeff. Yeah, we just went through the METAR. It's showing very low visibility and fog. There we are. A320neo illuminated by that rising sun. Fair enough, Sophia, yeah. I suppose, in a way, because you've purchased the Fenix, that in itself is a reason to fly it more. Interestingly, I can't really see the strobes flashing away. Oh, just above the nose there is another set of contrails for an aircraft. We'll try and find out who that might be. Mark says I really like the A310 at the moment from iniBuilds. look at that. But the 737-600 and the 800 are my favourite in the sim. Yeah, they're great. And as you're saying as well, the A310 is a fantastic bit of work from iniBuilds. Looking forward to that A300-600 as well when that comes. But I believe it's only the freighter to begin with, isn't it? Andre, hello to you. Yeah, the experimental branch of the flybywire A32NX is what we're flying today. I can't actually find that pilot who's just flown over us. I don't know who that was. Aaron loves the 737, it's my favourite, but find myself flying the A320 a lot recently purely because so many European carriers use it. Yeah, of course, if you want to fly BA, it's the only option unless you do a bit of Comair magic around South Africa. Carlito says the PMDG 737-600 plus the flybywire freeware A32NX is a great budget start combo, and then eventually you could work to upgrade to the 737-800. That's a great way into two twin-aisle jets. Great level of detail for both, isn't it? That's a good shout, Carlito, actually. I'm sure others would probably agree with that as well. I'd like to see that feature added in one day, Doc. Feature whereby you can maybe sort of flick the frequency in or something, or you could do something to enable low visibility lights, all the airfield lights to be switched on for low vis. Jeff says it's getting down to -9 later this week in Austin. We've just gone through a really cold snap ourselves here, where temperatures have dropped to about -10, -15 in areas. Although today's a really warm day in comparison. Mark, Mark's asking a whopper of a question there. Being honest, realistically, I don't think you can really tell the difference. I think the difference comes with the die-hard simmers that won't fly a Neo on a CEO route, that sort of thing. Engine performance in the flybywire A32NX is very good. It's very good in the Fenix A320 as well. But because they're both A320s, albeit one a Neo, one a CEO, there isn't much apart in differences, realistically. That's the big one. David's saying, do you want failures in the A320? If you do, then you need the Fenix. There is a failures menu in here, but it says there, full simulation of the failures below isn't yet guaranteed, and you have to find one to activate. There's only a couple. But to be honest, how much do you... Yeah, it depends. If you fly and you trigger a failure, or you like to have failures set regularly, then that's probably a good thing to have the Fenix, because it has such wonderful, complex failure simulation. And as Andy is saying as well, it depends on if you do virtual airline flying as well. Great point by Andy, saying that some airlines only use CEO, some use Neo, and some have a mixture. So it depends on what virtual airlines you might fly for too. Gav saying a great aspect of the different PMDG 737s are the dynamics of the approaches between the 700 and the 800, particularly at higher altitudes. They have smashed it, haven't they? Mark saying, how do you access that menu on the EFB? I couldn't find it today. It's the little exclamation mark there. Yeah, that's another point as well, Doc, to be fair. Yeah, if you're a die-hard simmer, you won't fly a Fenix A320 with CFMs if it's an airline that uses IAEs, and vice versa. Yeah, actually, that's a good point too. For airlines, the A320 is slightly cheaper on training, maintenance, you know, overall long-term costs from what I understand as well. Cost per revenue mile, I think is what they call it, something like that. So it's slightly cheaper for them to own A320s. But then for an airline like Jet2, which is 737 fleet, they are going to have to pay a significant amount of money to entirely retrain their pilots. And they've all got Boeing brain. So it's going to be like sitting in a flight deck with someone with ADHD who can't sit still because they've been flying Boeings all their lives. They're used for a departure that's really busy, take off, you know, gear up, runway turn off lights on, gear lever to off, and all that sort of stuff. Whereas in this, it's gear up, autopilot on, retract the flaps at when the speed enunciator tells you to, job done, leave it in climb. The system simulation with the Fenix is slightly higher, considering some of the circuit breakers actually work, but it's not necessarily a necessary purchase, as the fly-by-wire is very good. I find the differences are narrowing the more fly-by-wire's A32NX progresses as well, and at the state that it's in at the moment, it is an exceptionally good state at the minute for the fly-by-wire A32NX. This is the experimental branch, but it is pretty mega. It's pretty good. They did 707 liner, yeah. They saw the price difference coming. I think airlines are realising now the 737, it's an old jet. The Airbus has been updated properly over time. It's nice and solid, it's stable, it flies well, it's easier for crew training, cheaper for crew training, and also reliability costs are a little bit less and everything too. And accountants love to crunch the pennies, don't they? So the accountants have been going, why don't we change? Why don't we change to Airbus? I used to love watching that, Aaron. Airline on, was it Sky 3 or something for a little while? Those who remember the old Freeview days of Sky, I think it was Sky 3, I think. Mark's just realised we're in the fly-by-wire, not the Fenix. Clues in the title. Andy says, I'd not flown the fly-by-wire for a while and I was amazed about how good it was. That's the thing, isn't it? You can quite easily forget about the fly-by-wire for quite a long time because you've got so many good payware aircraft being released. But I think it's important to go back and recognise how vital this project is to Microsoft Flight Simulator and to the community as well. That's a big one, Shuts, yeah. Arguably safer for the Airbus. Aaron on PC, welcome. Good old fly-by-wire A32NX indeed. Gotta love it. Alberto, thanks buddy. Yeah, smash the likes, folks. Those were the days, Aaron, hey? Yeah, the CRG, the Aerosoft CRJ was released, and it was the A32NX or the CRJ as a choice. All good, Mark, no worries. Sathira saying, how do you turn off autosave on Volanta? So, if you're tracking a flight, all you got to do is press this little, if you can see the cursor, press the little bug there, the little menu, and then autosave, it will say enabled, it will be ticked, untick it, job done. And we are not too far away now either. Andrew, good morning, saying the 737 is like a Mini Cooper S. It's a pilot's aircraft with manual control that you become one with it. And it kind of never ages. Iconic and beautiful. The A320 is okay, but not my cup of tea. And Aaron has recently rediscovered the CRJ, really enjoying it. Yeah, the Aerosoft CRJ is still a great aircraft. We flew it recently as well. And yeah, Automator, fab point there. Yeah, without fly-by-wire's A32NX, we wouldn't be able to enjoy things like the Headwind A330. Aaron says it was your stream that got me back into the CRJ. Great. NG King's looking forward to the ATR 42 and 72 in March. They're going to be great as well, aren't they? There's a lot of aircraft coming in that first half of 2023 that we can look forward to, and weirdly enough, this time last year we were saying the same thing for 2022, weren't we? And yeah, the Just Flight 146, which we're long overdue a flight in actually. Yeah, long overdue a flight in that. That's a great aircraft product. Really enjoyable. Very busy flight deck. Next time saying, is Phoenix having issues with the newest update in Microsoft Flight Simulator? Saying a little bit further up in the chat, saying after the latest update, the sim constantly keeps freezing. That's not good. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, the accidental deployment of the gear down, gravity extension lever. Part of me still wishes we did a barrel roll to see if the gear tipped back into the hole, into the bay. 707 liner, yeah, we need to do an A330 headwind flight too. We, again, long overdue flight in that. Had a big update recently. Next time, in relation to your freezing, do you find it's certain scenery, or are you trying lots of different sceneries and finding that it just freezes regardless of where you are? And then I guess the side question to that is, do you have a really old Navigraph nav database, or is it the most recent one? Because I know some people have had issues with nav data being really out of date and it crashing the plane, crashing the sim. A lot of people, is it MK Studios? Their Dublin scenery. It's the reason why I don't fly into it, because for about 4 or 5 months now, a lot of people, as Aaron is saying, reporting crashed desktops on approach to Dublin. About 85 nautical miles to top of descent now, and we're into the star at Okoka. Oh, Cytheris had the same thing too. Mine was Cytheris saying that his Phoenix is freezing sometimes as well, with the newest nav data too. Odd. Have you tried uninstalling it and reinstalling it? There's some rogue Christmas tunes. Do it, Andy. You can have the Captain Tom livery now that they have a A330neo. Delta Tango saying, I think I did it airliners backwards. I made the jump from general aviation to the CRJ, and I'm only now working through the fly-by-wire. I expect it'll be simpler on VATSIM. Well, I guess it is a bit of a backwards way to do it, but my argument there would be you've learned the jets that are the hardest first. So the CRJ is a very difficult aircraft to fly, no auto thrust, so you've got to be tickling it all the time. And if you can master the CRJ, then you can master the 737, you can master the 146 from Just Fly, and you can absolutely, without a doubt, master the A320. The A320 will seem easy. David A's began his descent already. Andy, nice. I say from today you've mastered the CRJ then. We'll leave that discontinuity in because that is going to be effectively vectors. It's the scenery, David, at Dublin. A lot of people reporting scenery causing crash to desktop there. MK Studios Dublin. David, yeah, the DC-6. That's recently been updated actually, hasn't it? Again, another aircraft we're long overdue a flight in, but that has me having like full-on brow sweat trying to fly that. Cythera, yeah, absolutely. That was one of the big tips actually from my tutorials for the CRJ, which are still able to be watched, by the way, if you are looking to learn the Aerosoft CRJ. Episode 1, 2 and 3, one of them mentions a throttle tip in cruise. You set an N1 rating and you let it stabilise, and then you just see if it holds your speed. And I talk about it in episode 2 of the CRJ tutorials, and I'll demonstrate how it works in that video. So it's well worth checking that out. That's probably one of the most vital tips for flying and mastering the CRJ that I could probably give. And if you can nail that, then you've pretty much nailed the throttle system, and then that's probably 50% of the total battle of the CRJ. The rest is systems and everything else. Don't chase the throttle. Biggest rule in aviation for no auto thrust flying. Birdman with an ATIS update. Oh yes, in fact visibility's increased to 3 statute miles now, so we've got winds 360 at 11. 3 statute miles in fog, broken cloud at 600 feet now, so that's lifted slightly, and the cloud's now overcast from 900 feet above ground level. Which is good because we get a little bit more visibility on the way in to the DominicDesignTeam scenery and altimeter 3030. Still temperature 8, dew point 8. 360 at 11. Which is nice, we've got a nice old headwind. Lovely job. Obviously now, as it is getting earlier, the sun is going to be heating the ground. That's going to be helping to burn away that fog, so every little helps. And there is the airfield. I'd not thought of it like that, Andrew, actually. You make a really good point as well. Andrew saying that it's really cool that we're at a stage now in Microsoft Flight Simulator that you can basically fly a different high fidelity or study-wear aircraft every single day of the week. Yeah, and you literally can, can't you? Which is a huge thing. It's taken a while though. We remember when Microsoft Flight Simulator first was released and the channel first started, we had that default A320neo, which was, my goodness, poles apart from what we have now. And the early iterations of the flybywire A32NX when I began as a QA tester, and the first PR was seatbelt signs on. That was the animation that one of the first animations that we tested. Now look at it. David's going to take 3-6 right, so don't mess up the group's flow. No worries. Take it. Well, take whichever runway you want to take, I suppose. We'll make it work regardless. Schutz is saying, I thought the Dublin issue from MK Studios could be fixed by installing the correct version of Visual C++ libraries. There's some mismatch with a Windows 10 or 11 update. Weird. I wouldn't know, to be honest. Let's have a look at landing calculations. So fill data from OFP. That's fair. This is new, by the way. I don't recognise this from last time we flew it. So we're going to go KAUS, fill data, wind 010 at 7, temperature's 8. The equivalent is what? .3030, which is 1026 in the QNH. .360 at 11. Runway elevation is going to be on the charts, so that is going to be 496 feet touchdown zone elevation. And the runway heading, 355. I'm going to put good to medium, I think. It's in haze. Although it's not icing, so I'm going to put... I'll select good. What does it want in feet? Weight 47, flaps full, overweight procedure no, reverse thrust. We'll do reverse idle. Auto land no. Ryan, good afternoon. Oh, that's good. Field data from Metar. And then approach speed. We'll add 5, 120. Well, no, just 121. So low auto brake will have us stop near to Golf. That'll do. Top of descent coming up. And that is, Likes 3 arrival is going to be down to 5,000. So we're going to set 5, and I'm going to just leave it on VNav, manage descent. Altimeter was 3030, so I'm going to change that now. In the box in descent, go back to standard pressure. Was it 1024 was the equivalent? $1026. David says, happy to have some scenery at my home airport finally at Austin. It's decent, nothing too fancy. Mark's at Austin, flying around in Osprey, doing a weather check for you in the PA28. Nick, hello to you, welcome. This is the flybywire A32NX. Maybe we could try and tee up for a simultaneous landing. That would be quite cool. D. Atis. The digital ATIS for Austin is Information Yankee, winds 360 at 10 knots, 7 statute miles visibility, overcast 600 feet, 8 degrees Celsius, dew point 8 degrees Celsius, and the altimeter 3032. Simultaneous approach, notice to air missions, 5G NOTAMs in effect, PAPI runway 18 right, OTS, and yeah, arrivals expect ILS approach runway 36 right and 36 left simultaneous approach. It's interesting that's 3032. Still 1026. Very negligible difference anyway then, to be fair. Interestingly enough, it lost the VNav. See the ball drop there? The VNav ball, even though we're in descent, managed descent, look at that, it's gone really nose down. Rate of descent of 4,000 feet per minute to try and chase that VNav, so that's a little bit rough. Delta Tango says, David A, it's really nice when your home airport works well. My home airport doesn't even match the Jefferson charts, and it's a capital city. No weather radar and PMDG yet still. Ryan, good afternoon. Can't remember if I said hello to you yet or not, sorry if I didn't. They are pushing for Asobo to fix the API, improve it, to allow them to do the bits with weather radar a little bit more. There's our waypoints. And there's some more cloud rendering in as well. Ryan, no, I haven't. Flow, I haven't tried that. Doctor says, Doc on board says, VNav in the flybywire is still not good. I always have problems with it. Weird. David says his weather radar seems to be working on the PMDG. You sure it's not terrain? Let's change this rather lame music. Terrain, there we go. Yeah, so Sobo didn't really release a weather radar API, as Sathir was saying. They kind of released something that allowed developers to do little bits with it, but it wasn't really a weather API, which is what PMDG, I think, came out and said, didn't they? The heck is that behind? Weird contrails. Might be our contrails, actually. Seems like we are descending fairly steeply. Right, no, I'm just using the WASD keys, R and F to go up and down, and then the numlock keypad on my keyboard. So it's all keyboard controlled for the drone cam. Delta Tango, it's great, isn't it? It's been a while since we enjoyed the Osprey A32NX livery. Experimental version, for sure. Juliet Charlie Mike, yeah, we're on experimental version. Jeff, indeed. That's mandatory this time of year. Have I ever been to Texas in real life? No. I was looking to do Flight Sim Expo. Fortunately, finances aren't going to allow it this year. Andrew, no, really don't know about release date for the 737-900. As you say, it'd be a nice Christmas gift for many. Perhaps it would come this side of Christmas, but I'm not sure. Ooh, a little stutter there. Mark says if you fly the A310 regularly, you get used to having to manage the VNav yourself. Even real A310 pilots say VNav is pretty unreliable. Yeah, in the A310 you have to really watch the VNav, so you just descend on vertical speed, similar to the CLJ. In this though, the VNav should be pretty bang on. Jeff, love the dedication. Hello to everybody in Starbucks. I assume I'm on the speaker system. Right, that's all good, that's all set, happy with that data. The arrival data's in as well. We could go to... oh, there's no split MCDU. There's a difference between the Phoenix and the fly-by-wire. Oh well. When we get to Boise, I'll do an announcement for inbound to Austin. These are all fresh tunes on Epidemic Sound. They were only added 8 days ago. And if you missed the start as well, if you were looking at getting things like FS Academy, then from tomorrow, 21st of December 2022, all the way through to the 4th of December 2023, you can get 40% off all of the FS Academy products via the MSFS in-sim marketplace. Jeff, yeah, we're landing on the 3.6s. 3.6 left for us, ILS. MG King, my thoughts shared there as well. Early January, maybe. Through transition. Let's go to local pressure. The VNAV balls just dropped rapidly there. So it's that pressure difference between standard pressure and the local pressure at Austin being quite different. 2992 compared against 3032. It's got the nose right down 5 degrees to try and chase that VNAV. It just seems like that's the standard MSFS response, doesn't it? Just get the nose down, speed up. At least we've not had to use speed brake yet. G'day Ian, good evening to you. Pre-Christmas get-together drinks, nice. How did it go? What's your favourite beverage? Virgin 5.5 is 10-mile final to 3.6 right in Austin. And very soon we're going to be... Oh, we've already got the seatbelt signs on. Very soon we're going to be into... the cloud. But it doesn't seem too thick, look. We'll put a bit of anti-ice on though, just in case. We could probably bring that range ring into 40 now. Commentator, member for 20 months now, silver frequent flyer, good grief, almost 2 years. A few of you guys are going to have your gold logo badges next to your names soon. Asahi beer, good choice Ian. I used to drink that all the time in Tokyo, and then I'd try and create a pyramid using all of the Asahi cans in my hotel window with a couple of the guys at BA when we used to fly to Tokyo. David loves a good gin martini, but bourbon is his favourite drink of choice. Jeff, they do. I was with a couple of guys from Dallas Fort Worth Airport the other day, which was quite good fun, showing them around Heathrow and how we, in our world, do our job. Andrew says, forgot to say last night, after a 12-hour workday, I got in and watched the rest of your Mad Dog MD82 flight, and the landing was really impressive for only your second flight. It was a bit messy, wasn't it, though? There's a lot to learn, but I've really screwed up the ILS somehow, not sure how, but we ended up recovering that by just turning it all off, hand flying it. Asahi is very nice, isn't it? Mark, it certainly will be, yeah. Gatwick to Rovaniemi tomorrow from 1 o'clock UK time, 1300 Zulu. A lot of love for Asahi here in the chat. Brian, welcome buddy. Merry Christmas to you as well. I hope you're well. Member for 18 months. Thank you for all of your ongoing support. It's really appreciated. Can't believe we've had memberships for that long. 18, 20 odd months plus. It's crazy. Jeff, you're most welcome. Thanks for suggesting it yesterday, last minute actually. We were going to be flying into Dallas Fort Worth, weren't we, in the end? And then you pointed out, if I remember rightly, you pointed out yesterday this scenery. So
Go for Osprey, vacated runway 36 right.
what have we got down here? Is that a little bit of snow on the ground? Might be. Austin traffic, Osprey 165 at 11,000 feet, altimeter 3032. Overhead, boys. Inbound for the ILS, runway 36 left. Maybe it's just clay pits or something, I don't know. But you guys have a lot of gold mines in Texas, don't you? Maybe it's that. Actually, to be fair, it just looks like the neighbourhood. Not snow at all, look. Let's go outside and check it out a bit better. Yeah, Fokker Fellowship coming soon. Got our engines off or something. Very quiet up here. Brian picked up the Airbus H145 from High Performance Group and the 42 Flow Pro this morning. Must stop spending. It gets expensive, doesn't it? Davito, welcome. Thank you very much. Great to hear. Loving the content. My drone camera work needs a bit of progress though. Ooh, big stutter. Up. My goodness. That's how Microsoft Flight Simulator makes you absolutely panic. Clipper Sim Pilot saying, I don't think it snows in Austin. Yeah, there's definitely no snow on the ground, to be fair. Right, let's dive back in the flight deck. There's going to be a lot going on now. So the crazy rate of descent. We're descending on idle. Speed. It's actually allowed the speed to increase a little bit, which is not that great. Yeah, there's definitely no snow. You guys can see that clearly through the cloud, but yeah, it's not snow, it's kind of like the roofs of the houses and things.
Austin traffic, UPS 2306 going around.
Right, let's get rid of that, because it's like the cloud base is descending with us. It says rained all day yesterday. Jeff says we've been getting snow once or twice a year here in Austin. At or above 6,000 at Rats. Then we've got Lady at 5,000, and then from there we're going to be self-vectoring, which is why we've got that big old line ahead of us. Let's start QATL. Ron van der Sar, hello, saying, Luke, I now fly 8 months for Osprey, but where is the name coming from? Do you mean, how did we decide on the name Osprey Airways? I can't remember, to be honest. Well, I remember we did a poll, and we had three or four different options available in the poll that people had suggested, and then the community at the time voted on which they preferred, and it ended up being Osprey Airways. There was a couple of suggestions for the call sign as well, from what I remember, and then we ended up choosing Osprey Airways, and then Osprey as the call sign, which I think is awesome. But yeah, basically the community decided, and then we got it all painted.
Traffic, UPS
A lot of stutters here.
Is turning left for the downwind.
That's Zato.
36 right.
So we're beaming the field now. We're going to be level at 5,000 feet. Auto brake set to low. We can arm the ground spoilers. Press the crew button as well to get them in their seats, because we are now less than 10 minutes to landing. I've got Volanta auto saving off, so it's definitely not that today. The thing I forget as well with this is 113.8. It doesn't pre-tune. That's going to be 095. outbound radial for the missed approach. Let's get that tuned. And 128, that's going to be a radial of 222 outbound to the hold for a missed approach. And 110.995, 355 degrees, that's good and correct. Can you show your destination data for a second, Marv? That bit. Andrew says, remember your replay. Well, that's a good shout, actually. We've not done Sky Dolly for a little while. Should we do that as well? Go to heading mode. Let's get them VORs tracking as well. Marv says, where'd you get the barrow from? I'll show you quickly. So on the actual approach plate, so this is our ILS charts for 3.6 left, the approach we're doing at the moment. If you go right down, below this vertical cross-section profile of the approach, you've got the minimums. So where it says ILS here, DA is the decision altitude. In the big writing, that's barrow. And then one in the brackets is your rad alt, which is your decision height. And then you've got the RVRs, which is 40 or 3/4. 3/4 of a statute mile in America.
On the localizer 436 right on a 14-mile funnel.
That's David on final. We're level at 5,000. Green dot is 180 knots today. How light are we? Marv, no worries at all. Hopefully that helped. Anyway, let's be good. Let's go through clouds. Let's get icing on. I will do LS in a second, yeah. Just getting a bit closer. Okay, we could activate approach phase in a moment as well. Automated says, I watched the beginning of the stream. I think payload didn't load correctly. Interesting. Yeah, gross weight at 47,500 is very low, isn't it? Yeah, 61.4 we're supposed to be. I wonder if we could change it on the fly. I wonder how that would... There we go. How's that? Check weight. I was going to say that because we've just literally thrown the aircraft into disarray with the weight. No, it hasn't changed anything though. 47.4 still. Oh well. Anyway, we're at the end. So, Austin traffic, Osprey 165 is turning left base, 36 left. We'll report establishing. Let's get LS on. Step down to 4,000. Change the zero fuel weight in the fuel page. It will change the performance. No, but the gross weight that hasn't changed, Doc. That's the problem. It's the gross weight, even though we've changed bits in here. Zero fuel weight. 57.8. Maybe you're right. Oh, it has just changed. Good grief, we might overshoot this. Stand by. Because we've changed the weight, we've now gone into alpha floor and a few other safety modes. So it won't let me do autopilot just yet. Let's just get flaps extended here. It's going to 1. Let's do that. We're going to go wings level. Now it'll allow me to do that. We'll do approach mode.
UPS 236 heavy 2306 correction, turning base, ILS 36 right.
That'll do. Probably cock that right up. It's because we fiddled. Let's get rid of that shocker music. Just because we can. We'll see what it does. 133 now. Okay, now we go. Andy, yeah. There's a theme here. "13 miles. We'll do 160 till 4. Let's just check all this again. So that's still armed. That's set. Flaps 2. Autopilot 2 on as well.
Traffic, UPS 2306, established ILS 36 right for the second attempt.
And Austin traffic, Osprey 165 is established just about. ILS 36 left 11 miles. Speed 160 till 4 DME, Austin traffic. Okay, we're established. Could be, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it? A bit of Mariah Carey magic. Right, let's do this. Don't fiddle in mid-flight. Why do I always do that to myself? Always end up trying to break something. Flap 3. Get down 9 miles. There's the highway, and you know what? Before I forget, Sky Dolly. Although we don't have a custom view, don't forget, so our Sky Dolly replay will probably just be external view
Traffic, Osprey 490.
from the runway.
The terminal.
2,500.
Golf 2.
In final, still above the clouds, indeed. 7 miles. Full flat. There we go. Let's turn the brightness of that up so I can actually read the display, because I can't read it. Let's just guessing it as we go.
2000.
That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? In fact, is that part of the scenery as well that's been done? It looks like they've actually modelled in a raised highway, so you get that realistic look. Scott, hello to you. You can tell the front office you picked up some hitchhikers along the way. That's pretty cool. That's default freeways. That's epic. 5 miles. Let's go to managed speeds. We do cabin ready as well. We've got cabin secure. Into the pea suit, Jeff, indeed. Let's see when we bust out the cloud. Sky Dolly's on record. Gear down, 3 green, full flap green, and landing Mimosano blue. And we're out of the pea soup. There's the approach lights just coming into view. And our first ever approach into Austin, Texas. That could do a bit of work. Dominic Design Team's latest payware scenery. It's about £20.
1000.
It's on the rad out. TCAS has gone to TA only. Water brakes set low. We're doing reverse idle for touchdown. Let's fly it in. Wind straight on the nose. I'm literally just staring at those ILS diamonds and the flight director at the moment.
500.
And then looking ahead at the runway. We'll fly this last little bit visually.
300. 100 above.
So Thera, no, we leave it on to the end in the Airbus, don't we? The auto throttle.
200. Minimum.
Interesting, the ILS drops us in
100.
so much there, but we've kept it 2 red, 2 white most of the time. A little bit bumpy there over the trees, which is a
50.
nice new feature.
30. 20. Retard. 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 5.
Reverse green. And Lufthansa, you disconnect. Interesting. Decelerating nicely. 60 knots past Tango, in fact. Let's go to manual brakes. And if we quickly pop out, that's us. It's never a good time for the dog to go mad. Good old DPD.
Austin traffic, GPS 2306, vacated 36 right via Gulf.
Trying to multitask. And Austin traffic, Osprey 165 has vacated at Golf. Taxi to stand 24. Enough.
Take 25, I took 24, my bad.
Is there 263 next to you?
Yes.
That'll do.
27, I think, or 28.
28. Take stand 28.
So negative 28's taken, 26 is not.
I'll take 26.
I'm 4 miles away from you, so I'm going to taxi up.
Change parking facility. Oh god, I'm trying to do this with the tiller. 26. Ron, so you have to press it once and then you press it again to basically confirm that you've turned it off. Let's do ASIG. Probably turn some of these lights off as well. Let's stand 26. And the GSX tug is actually turning up at the stand, which is quite weird. Might have to shout at the DPD guy if he tries to take the package from the door. Get out of the way, Douglas. I think we're just going to have to drive through him, aren't we? Actually, I know what we can do. Park brake on. I wonder if this damages GSX. I did select 28, but then I changed it to gate 26. We have got the marshaller is right there inside the stairs, which is a bit strange. Right. You guys wanted to see the replay, didn't you? So let me zip back to the approach. We need to turn drone follow mode off. I'll stop Sky Dolly recording as well. And then we'll have a look at the new DominicDesignTeam Austin Airport as well. Ooh, look at the nice runway texture. We got, let's see, really long runway. Custom profile, I don't think there is one for it. Unless there is and I've got it wrong. Right. Zip. Play. Now it probably... oh, it does have all of that on. Can't really hear any sounds, so we can do with some music. The flybywire always works quite well with Sky Dolly, to be fair, I find. Just thought I'd quickly change, take landing rate monitor off. Over the touchdown zone now with the wheels. And there we go. What Sky Dolly doesn't do, you'll see there actually, it doesn't recognise the aircraft state that well. So things like flaps and the reversers aren't out. Just thinks we're idling the thruster still, which is a bit of a shame. But what we can do is zip all the way back to there. Gate 33. Gate 26. Don't need a follow me. I'd help if I didn't have the parking brake on. Peter, have a good one. Right, let's focus on the touchdown here. It makes it difficult with the tiller. You have to kind of level out the turn before you need to level out, if that makes sense. My god, it accelerates quickly. Park brake is on. Engines are cut. Oops. Oh, that's a big old stutter. There's Mark, I think. Very good parking. No Gangnam style dance though. From the marshaller.
The boarding requested.
There she goes. Little bit of turnaround time. Right, while that's working away, let's have a little look at this airport scenery as well, shall we? We will go to slow the drone camera down a bit, otherwise we're going to be zipping around way too quick. Andrew, no worries buddy, have a good day at work. There goes the southwest. And Dominic Design Team's Austin airport scenery. Oh, look at the inside. This looks cool. Let's bust through the window. Very nice, look at this. Shakir, no return, sadly. Yeah, I think, so these boxes here are the GSX default jetways. I did exclude it from the scenery, bizarrely, but maybe I need to go through and check the GSX settings again. So do ignore these jetway things here. This is GSX overwriting and feeding its own jetways in. So do ignore them. Which kind of makes the rest of it look a bit pointless. Yeah, it's kind of buggered up the scenery's own jetways a little bit there. Yeah, it does. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Performance is quite nice here as well. It doesn't go into whoppers of detail. But then you don't really need the landside areas too, do you? They've covered the most important bits. They've also covered bits of the external car parks, some of the hotels down in the backdrop as well, which is nice to see. Steve, so you have to go into the GSX live update thing and you click config and you can change the you exclude third-party jetways. It doesn't always detect it, so you have to then find the scenery package and then manually exclude it yourself so it doesn't do what ours has done today. Although I've got a test actually. We'll check out the tower and I will try something out. I wonder if we could do it on the fly. Where's the old control tower? It's a vast airport, isn't it? Just mainly nothingness. There's the big old tower. Cargo centre in the background through the haze. Oh, there's no interior. That's a shame. I do like a tower inside. Yeah, he's been going wild, bumping up and down. Christopher says, is there a fence going across the road? Ooh, where? Is there one, or were you asking, is there one? You might have to direct my camera to it. While I wait for the reply, what we'll do is I'll test something out. Good old GSX. Where's GSX live update? It's not that one, is it? It's on my desktop. Ah, that's not the one I wanted. It's now updating something. David, have a good day, buddy. So basically, yeah, you can't change that on the fly to turn the setting off, but do make sure you disable the default jetways. There we go. Thanks everyone who flew along today as well. Hope you've enjoyed it. Join us tomorrow. We are going out of Origami UBS. We're going out of Origami Studios' London Gatwick Airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we're off to Rovaniemi to see if we can spot Santa in the PMDG 737-800. We'll be flying TUI as well. So I'm going to get that stream set up over the next 30 minutes or so, and I'll hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks everyone who hit the like button as well. 80 of you so far as well. Really appreciate it. And Dr. Magic, welcome on board as our channel member. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Take care.